Right. So we will continue the nitrogen cycle. There are few things I can add here. Uh, Now, what is the missing link in this nitrogen cycle? Large amount of nitrogen is in the atmosphere. So in this nitrogen cycle, there is no link with the atmospheric nitrogen. So we only see plant, bacteria, and nitrate back into the animals and plants, living organisms. So this can be considered as a living organisms. Then nitrified bacteria convert into nitrate. Then there is a way this nitrate can move back into the nitrogen in the atmosphere. This is again done by a bacteria, we call it denitrification. Nitrification. So that is also done by the bacteria, denitrification. Then this atmospheric nitrogen can also recycle back into the soil by some of the bacteria which is mostly located in the plant, fruit nodules. So they can use this nitrogen gas, and this nitrogen gas convert into a nitrate and nitrite. So this is the atmospheric nitrogen fixing. We call it atmospheric nitrogen fixing. Right. So again, the main steps: proteolysis, ammonification, nitrification, denitrification, and then atmospheric nitrogen fixing. So we can remember this in this mnemonic, PANDA. So can you complete this nitrogen cycle?
Okay.
For carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. Yeah, that section is done. So we have a new section then. So new section is somehow related to this carbon cycle that we learn here. Under this last lesson for this unit 4, this section we're going to learn what is the impact of human activities on the ecosystem. So human influence on ecosystem. So we have learned about the ecosystem. Now we're going to learn human influence on ecosystem. For example, carbon cycle. We have learned the large amount of carbon dioxide released by human activities. So, right. So, the biggest thing we can understand the population growth. Why population growth is important? If we look at the population growth, at the moment, it is 8 billion, more than 8 billion. So if we take today's 2023, and if we look 1023 years back, that's 1000. So what is the population at that time? It is very less, something like less than 500 million. So the population is less than 500 million. Now, population 2023 is more than 8 billion, right? So we are here, and it was like this before. So if we look the population growth, so population growth doesn't happen in a linear scale. So when it comes to 1800, the population growth is like this. It's a very slow and low growth of population until 1800. So it is still less than 1 billion. But if we consider this 223 years, only 223 years, the population increased like this. So this kind of a growth is called exponential. exponential growth. So, not the number mainly, right? So there is a impact to the environment when there is large number of the organism. But in human, not the number mainly, but activities. Has damage to the ecosystem. So we are going to learn how this damage happen by the activities of human. So can you copy this down on the new topic, human influence on ecosystem and population growth?
Okay.
Right. So let's try to find how the human influence impact to the environment and what are the main areas. Okay. Supply. Right, we can consider this one supply and demand for the growing population. Supply and demand for the growing population. Okay. So when the population increase, what are the main requirements for human? So this is one requirement, food. Food is one requirement. Second requirement for the space. Food is one of the main requirements. Then the space. Now space need for housing. and civilization. So hospitals, roads, buildings, schools, so all need for housing and civilization for space. And space is also required for agriculture. Food, and space also need for the waste. And space also required for resources and materials. So we have a big problem with the space now. Space for food and agriculture, housing, civilizations, waste management, and getting resources for and other materials. Okay. Then all these things are linked with the common source, that is the energy. Now, human is special in this case because if we take other organisms, their growth is not like a human. So maybe have very stable growth like this. But when you take a human, we have seen this kind of exponential growth. Because birth rate high, death rate low. Because of the development of medicine and other things, only we can observe this kind of growth rate for human. So need food, agriculture, housing, civilization, space, resources, and material. Like we can discuss under so many things: furniture, medicine, so many things we can. So we, as a human, we need more space than any other organism on planet Earth. Okay, can you copy this one?
Okay.
Right. In this case, food and agriculture is one of the most important thing, because when we are learning the food chain and food web, those are all natural things. Food web and food chains are natural things, and we have seen the tropic levels, how many tropic levels, and what is the flow of the energy in these food chains. But what is the role of human in food chain? Can we draw a natural food chain for human? So it's now different to the natural food chains. So we have talked about the farm system, because the natural food chains are not much helpful for human, because the human food is mainly derived from the modern farming. So this we can consider as a food chain for human. Right. Then we're going to see the producers. So as we learn about the food chain, the producers use the energy of sunlight and vegetables, fruits. I mean, I can't write everything here. I just write vegetable, fruits, and potatoes. Then other things like uh, grains, so maize, corn, maize corn, wheat, barley, so I have listed some of the main food components of human, and these producers, some of the producers going to the primary consumers. Now, primary consumers, we can write here, some of them are mainly the chickens, poultry. Poultry is the poultry we consider as a chicken. And then cow, goat, sheep, pig. So they are the primary consumers, and the primary consumer is going to secondary consumer. That's human. So here we can add producers as a grass, because grass mainly taken up by the goat, cow, pig, and sheep. And some of these grains consumed by the poultry industry, required for the poultry. And top of that, we can also add these vegetable and fruits and things directly consumed by human. And also these things directly consumed by human. So this is the modified food chain for human, and this is not as natural what we have seen earlier. So we have a modern farming system, this kind of food chain for human. So can you copy this one?
Okay.
Right. Next, we will also look how certain things recycle within the modern farming. So we have learned carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle, but the farm is again an ecosystem. So this kind of a farming we can consider as an ecosystem, and let's see how things are operating in farms. Farm as ecosystem. In this farm, we're going to see nitrogen cycle. How nitrogen is recycling in the farm. Okay. So what we have learned in the nitrogen cycle, the atmospheric nitrogen. This nitrogen is fixed by the plants and bacteria in these plants can fix nitrogen into usable form that is nite, right, and nitrate. So here we have seen it nitrate and nitrite. So nitrite can be used by the organisms like plants. After that, these nitrate available for crop production. For cultivation of vegetables, fruits, potatoes, and other grains. So we can consider as crops. And from this crop, some of them are going as a food, and some of them are going as fodder. What is fodder? Fodder is the form which is available for animals, livestock, like straw and hay